Welcome everyone. I just wanted to welcome you in my session where I'm going to talk about what is the future of .NET framework and what Microsoft is thinking around .NET framework in general. So in the month of May, during the Build conference, we have heard a lot of stories around .NET framework and its future. So I wanted to summarize all those announcements in a short session and walk you through what it really means for an individual as a developer to think about and plan accordingly. So if you see .NET today, it is the platform to build application. And with .NET Core, we brought in the multiple operating system support. That means you can build an application for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Not only that, you can build application for various different types of activities. For example, desktop, web, cloud, mobile, gaming, IoT, and AI. You can use .NET with your favorite IDE like Visual Studio, which is a full-fledged Visual Studio for enterprise application development scenario. You can have that Visual Studio both on Windows and on Mac OS. And you also have Visual Studio Code, which also additionally runs on Linux operating system, desktop operating system like Ubuntu. And we also have that command line interface available through CLI. You can really create an application, build and automate things like that. So a few facts about .NET frameworks today. So today we have .NET Core 3.0 and the next release of .NET Core 3.0 will be .NET 5. That's the next big release of the .NET family. With this, you can build application for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, iOS, Android, tvOS, watchOS, and WebAssembly, and many more. Now with this, you might have a question like, why not .NET Core 4? And the answer to that is Microsoft is skipping the version 4 mainly because it wanted to reduce the confusion behind the existing .NET framework. So as you know, today we have .NET 4.x, which means that you have .NET 4.6 or 4.8, any of the versions you may be using today. So if we release .NET Core 4, it might create confusion back in your mind. So Microsoft decided to go with .NET 5, which is the next big major release of .NET framework. So .NET Framework 5, today it is in preview 6, which means that we are planning to have the release happen somewhere around November timeframe this year. So this is the timeline of what we have planned so far. So if you see today, it is .NET Core 3 point whatever version. In November, we're gonna have that .NET 5, which will be globally available or generally available .NET 5, and .NET 6 will be having long-term support. That means you can rely and then build application and have an assurance from Microsoft that it will be supported, patched, and updated on a regular basis, right? This is the table on how we are planning to have those releases. So this might help you decide what to choose for your upcoming application development. This is important number. So you can see that we have planned up to .NET 8, which is publicly available, and .NET 8 will be available somewhere around November 2023, right? Some of the frequently asked questions you might have, like why no .NET 4? We discussed already that just to avoid the confusion, we're gonna have .NET 5, no more .NET Core 4 or .NET 4, and we will call it as simple as .NET 5. No, the word core will not be used. However, if you like, you can continue to use the core. There's nothing wrong in it, but just to simplify, .NET framework will be now called .NET 5. And I've heard about Mono Project. So Mono Project really helped us build application for Linux. So we have that Mono projects for a long time with main version of .NET Framework. With .NET Core, we created something called Core CLR. So we will have best of both and create something as a replacement for both of them, where you can continue to build on top of it, and then .NET 5 onwards will use that replacement in the runtime perspective. There are a couple of links available. I wanted to have those links readable so that you can pick it up from the link and then go in detail. So those two official blogs on top were published during Build conference in the month of May. We have a GitHub page for the .NET Core roadmap, where it basically tells you where to go for more in-depth detail. The release note of the .NET Core is available in GitHub, as well as the .NET 5 Preview 6, which is the current release, is available here. So you can try .NET 5 Preview 6 with your latest Visual Studio installation. I think the Visual Studio 16 onwards, the version Visual Studio update number 16 onwards, you can play with .NET 5. So let's enjoy. Thank you.